the new year, and it's time to write out some 2022 goals. And you decide you want to read this year. Maybe it's 5 books, maybe it's 50, but you're stuck thinking, where do I start?
Well, which ones are good and which ones are overrated?
Well, you're in so much luck. Today, I will be ranking and reviewing 11 super popular young adult books. I've also done 3 more book review videos like this one if you want even more book recs. So, now, let's chat about some books.
If you have never seen a book review that I have done before, I'm just gonna give you a quick little summary of what's gonna go down today. I rank all of the books from 1 to 11. 1 is being the worst and 11 is being the best. All the books that I read here were very good, so it's hard to rank them. So even if it's ranked 1, it's not terrible. It just wasn't my favorite in comparison. The X Talk by Rachel Solomon. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. I'm gonna redo the summary real quick. Shay Goldstein has been a producer at her Seattle public radio station for nearly a decade, and she can't imagine working anywhere else. But lately it's been a constant clash between her and her newest colleague, Dominic Yoon, who's fresh off a journalism's master's program and convinced she knows everything about public radio. I'm not gonna read the whole thing because it's really long. It's essentially like a haters to lovers, lovers to haters, haters to lovers kind of trope vibe. But the main character was like, for me, really annoying. Like I just did not like her. But I'm not gonna go into too much depth about this book because quite a while ago, actually, I went on a podcast. It was Even the Little Things podcast. They have this really cool like online book club. Go watch or listen to that podcast episode and you will get a vibe on how we felt about that book. Overall, we didn't love it. So yeah, go listen to the podcast episode, get back to me, let me know what you think. Okay, our next book is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Let's talk about the summary. When Xiomara Batista, who pours all her frustrations and passion into poetry, is invited to join the school's slam poetry club, she struggles with her mother's expectations and her need to be heard. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. This was written in verse, so like poetry, and I think that's a really cool style of reading a book. For me, this one just didn't do it because I think the main character was so much in her head that it was hard to understand how she interacted with other people, and for me, I don't love that. I really like to see how characters interact with others because that's how I can like figure out who they are and if I like them or not. And then the ending, I feel like nothing was really resolved. It was a little confusing, and I'm not a fan of that. I love books that like just the endings tied up in a bow, explicitly tell me what happens and I will be satisfied. This one was a lot of interpretation and I didn't love that. Give this a read maybe and let me know what you think. All right, next up is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. When Finch and Violet meet on the ledge of the bell tower at school, it's unclear who saves whom, and when they pair up on a project to discover the natural wonders of their state, both Finch and Violet make more important discoveries. It's only with Violet that Finch can be himself, a weird, funny, live, out loud guy who's not such a freak after all. And it's only with Finch that Violet can forget to count away the days and start living them. I have given a 4 to 5 stars. Let me tell you, this is Paper Town vibes like all the way. Like if you ever read Paper Towns by John Green, like something about this book just gives me that kind of vibe. It was good. I really liked it. I really liked how it was 2 very opposite characters and you could see their opposite perspectives on the same event. The only thing that kind of makes me mad is that they made a Netflix movie out of it and the 2 main characters are nothing what I pictured the characters to be like in my head while reading it. One of Us is Next by Karen Mcmanus. So here's our summary. A year after the Bayview Fort were cleared from Simon Kelleher's death, a new mystery has cropped up. A game with dangerous consequences that's targeting students at Bayview again. And if the creator isn't found soon, dangerous could prove deadly. So Karen Mcmanus wrote One of Us is Lying. This is the second one. And I definitely liked the first book better, but this one was really cool because it was told in 3 different perspectives than the original book was written in, and Karen Mcmanus did a really cool job at connecting those characters to the original characters of the book, if that makes sense. Like the good stuff in the book didn't start happening until like more than halfway down, so it took a little bit to like actually get going into the storyline. The next book is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Camino Rios lives for the summers when her father visits her in the Dominican Republic. But this time, on the day when the plane is supposed to land, Camino arrives at the airport to see crowds of crying people. In New York City, Yahaira Rios is called to the principal's office where her mother is waiting to tell her that her father, her hero, has died in a plane crash. Separated by distance and Poppy's secrets, the two girls are forced to face a new reality in which their father is dead and their lives are forever altered. Essentially, okay, that summary is kind of confusing, but like there's two sisters, like one dad, two sisters. One of the sisters lives in New York City, one in Dominican Republic. They don't know about each other until after he dies. That's basically what goes on. That didn't spoil anything. It's just like, so this book was 4 out of 5 stars. I really like this book. This was also written in verse, kind of like The Poet X. This just like kind of opened my eyes to a new medium of reading, and the structure of the book actually really added to my understanding. The only thing that was hard for me is that it was written in 2 perspectives, but there were times at which you honestly didn't know who was speaking. Like it wasn't very explicit, as it would just go back and forth really quick between the 2 characters. So that's the only thing that was like a little bit not so good, but the story was really awesome. Like I really liked it. Big juxtaposition between the 2 sisters, and I think that added a fun level of depth to read about. Arsenic and Adobo by Nia Manansala. Here we go. When Lila moves back home to recover from a horrible breakup, her life seems to be following all of the typical rom-com tropes. She's tasked with saving her Tita Rosie's failing restaurant, and she has to deal with a group of matchmaking aunties, but when a notoriously nasty food critic, who happens to be her ex, drops dead moments after a confrontation with Lila, her life quickly swerves from a Nora Ephron romp to an Agatha Christine case. This one was good. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, this was a murder mystery, but it was like really funny, and like it wasn't like a scary murder mystery or anything like that. The way it was written was so fun, and it's also very exciting that this is now gonna be a series. I don't know when the rest of the books are coming out, but like I can't wait. The amount of like culture and like food that was like involved in this story made me really happy. It was so awesome to just like read about it. I was low-key like hungry the entire time reading it. Like it was so good. The only thing I was confused about, the main character and her best friend Adina, like their relationship was so confusing. Like I couldn't figure out if they hated each other or like what was going on. Like there was something a little off about it that I didn't love. But the storyline, everything, great book. Beach Read by Emily Henry. So our summary. A romance writer who no longer believes in love and a literary writer stuck in a rut engage in a summer-long challenge that may just append everything they believe about happily ever afters. Plotline was so cool. Oh, I also give this one 4 to 5 stars. But anyway, plotline so unique for like a love story-ish. Like it was just so cool. I also liked, there was a bunch of different themes that connected back to the main theme about writer's block. Through the story, I was kind of struggling to find the actual point of the story, like why I was reading it, but then the ending just like, it tied it together. It was so good. Okay, our next book is Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Between life and death, there is a library, and within that library, the shelves go on forever. Every book provides a chance to try another life you could have lived, to see how things would be if you had made other choices. Would you have done anything different if you had the chance to undo your regrets? This one was a good one. I gave this one 5 to 5. The story concept was so cool. The ending was such a twist, but it was like a really good one. Very metaphorical about like living and regrets, and like just, it was really good. It was kind of inspiring too. Like, I just really enjoyed it. Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Casamano. Finlay Donovan, whose fiction treads dangerously close to the truth as she becomes tangled in a real-life murder investigation. I had so much fun reading this book. The plot was like, it was so cool. It was so cool. At the beginning, I was kind of like low-key stressed while reading it because the main character was so stressed, and I just like didn't like that feeling that much. But then it definitely got a lot better. The ending left off on a cliffhanger, and a second book is coming out in like February of this year. So I'm so excited to read that because I think it's gonna be really great. But I like this one. I would recommend this for sure. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Over the years, Alex and Poppy's lives take them in different directions, but every summer, the two find their way back to each other for a magical week-long vacation, until one trip goes awry, and in the fallout, they lose touch. Now, 2 years later, Poppy's in a rut. Her dream job, her relationships, her life. None of it is making her happy. In fact, the last time she remembers feeling truly happy was on that final, ill-fated summer trip. The answer to all her problems is obvious. She needs one last vacation to win back her best friend. Emily Henry did a really good job at like kind of describing like why traveling is important, the importance of traveling, and like the feelings you feel while doing it. And like as someone who travels a lot, it was just really relatable and fun to read. The storyline was awesome. It was really cool, and the relationship between Alex and Poppy, like the two main characters, was adorable. Like, I loved it. I loved all of it, and I think you're gonna like it too. This next book just like has my heart. Like, One of Us is Lying by Karen Mcmanus. Here's our summary. When the creator of a high school gossip app mysteriously dies in front of 4 high-profile students, all 4 become suspects. It's up to them to solve the case. This one got 5 out of 5 stars. I have an attachment to this book. I heard about this book so long ago, and for some reason I just like didn't read it until now. But the storyline, the plot, everything is so good. The ending, the plot twist at the end. Also made a show out of this first book on Peacock, and it was so good. I loved all of the actors that were in it. The only issue is they changed the ending, which kind of made me a little annoyed because the ending is so good in the book. But read this one. I think you will love it. This one is just so good. It's called My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. All her life, 13-year-old Anna has helped her sister fight leukemia. Anna has provided platelets, bone marrow, and even stem cells to ensure Kate's survival. But when their parents ask her to donate a kidney, Anna has had enough. She enlists the aid of a lawyer and announces her intention to sue for control of her own body. Fun fact, I had to read this book for my medical internship class because there was a lot of science in there about stem cell transplants, in vitro fertilization, a lot about promyelocyte leukemia. Just from a non-medical standpoint, like, you should read this book. The ending, I have never read an ending with such a plot twist. Second thing, they made a movie out of it, and it's not good. It's not good because if you read the book and watch the movie, they changed everything. They got rid of so many important characters. They changed the ending, which is the best part of the book, like so much. So I was a little disappointed with that, but the book, the ending, everything is shocking. So if you read this book, like, you have to message me on Instagram, and I think that you were literally gonna love it. Like, I know you're gonna love it. Those are all of the book recommendations that I've got for you right now. Don't you worry, when I read 10 more books, I will be back here reviewing more. So let me know what you're going to be reading next, what books that you have loved, some that maybe I should read because I'm looking for some more recs. So thank you for watching and happy reading.